Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Cal. Cal, say what's up.
Hey, we're ready to rock.
Hey, so today we're going to be discussing the Acolyte, possibility of Acolyte season two. Um, the question is whether or not this is actually going to happen or not, and we are like, we don't know what the heck Star Wars is doing. So we heard from Star Wars Meg that there may be a possibility in D23, the upcoming Star Wars fan convention, that there may be something about the Acolyte. What's your take on this, Cal?
I don't know why they would push for more of the Acolyte. This reminds me of when I guess they decided when they brought that character in. What was that? Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I think it was Revenge of the Sith, and they brought in Rose Beck.
Uh-huh.
Nobody liked her, and they decided, hey, we're gonna double down on the character, give her a comic, do this type of stuff, and it didn't really get any traction. It wasn't the actress, it was the way that they introduced the character, and the reaction from people was never good, and it never really improved. You may have had a small section that liked it and were being supportive. I think a lot of them being supportive just to be supportive, but it never grew any traction. And eventually we saw Rose, and she was pretty much just written out of the whole story altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I
This
I agree with you there. I mean, it was a difficult situation, and the way I guess it's handled is never ideal. So, regarding the acolyte, do you think the story has any redeemable possibilities of story? I mean,
No,
no, wow. I mean,
no.
because here now hear me out. So this is where I have to disagree with you because I think the Khmer character here, for example, the I guess the Sith or the
Because the
light
script is in.
character, right? Khmer, the thing is that everybody thought what the way they pitched this series was that, hey, this is supposed to be a Sith-based series, so we're going to see more of the Sith or understand.
Mhm.
That is exactly what I understood it to be. Probably it was wrong or whatever, but that's what I understood it to be. So when we go through this series and we're not getting that, I was definitely disappointed. You know, of course, there were some political aspects that people saw and they were like, "No, I don't like that. I don't want to watch the show anymore." And that's a whole nother issue, right? But the question was the show good in and of itself. There were issues in terms of differentiating the two girls. If they are, we hear that they're supposed to be one and the same, but you never really felt that even though they lived apart for several years, they seemed extremely similar to one another, and they just agreed with what they had to do. And that is, is it that goes back to that thing with the twins? Is it nurture versus nature? And I thought that was way too much nature. They automatically just clicked right away, and they could have done a better job of trying to break that down. Another issue was that Kamir first kills five, six Jedi's right away, and then at the very end he can't handle the fight that he's having with just one dude alone. You know what I'm trying to say? And you're like, wait, but he killed five at the same time, roughly. So I know the other guy was a master. I get it, understood, but still, when he has that much power, you figure he would do much better than he turned out to do. Um, but I mean, is the question comes up: is there some light that there's a possibility that there should be an acolyte second season? And that's where I think that I think there's a possibility, for me at least, to see more. Probably they can do what they did with the Clone Wars and turn it around and say, hey, fill in the gaps where in the original viewing we did not see that. What's your take on that?
No, there's nothing redeemable about this series. It was bad. It was again. This is another one of these series that is contemptuous towards the viewership. It was we don't care about any of the stuff that you enjoy or that's brought you in to watch Star Wars. We're doing this. Okay, we are effectively trolling all the stuff that you like as well. And if you don't like it, too bad. We don't care. So that is, I mean, you can only like keep flipping the bird at your readership your viewership for so long, and they keep doing it. This is one of it too. But other reason why there's nothing redeemable about this is because this undercuts a lot of fundamental things within Star Wars. I mean, it undercuts the story of Anakin Skywalker. It also brings Yoda into the mix, if that was him, because it was a shot from the back. But it also brings Yoda into the mix in a way that's not good. It makes the Jedi look horrible. It doesn't give us an origin about the Sith. So even some fundamental things that we understand about Star Wars, this series decides to undercut. Is this that they're going to rewrite everything, and it's not done well. So no, there's nothing redeemable. But I mean, that doesn't mean you can't make. If you want to continue with it, that's fine. But it's doesn't this doesn't have any roots. And because it's not a healthy plant, it's just going to wither away, regardless of how much water they put towards it.
Yeah, this is where I have to disagree. I mean, I think that especially with with me looking at the Clone Wars and how that helped to inform. I hated the original movies, the prequels, and watching the Clone Wars helped me to get another appreciation for the particular movie. So
But that was good.
right, and so
If you're going to use, that's the only thing. If you want to use that example, that's fine. But you want to use an example that actually parallels what we're talking about. And the Clone Wars was executed well because one, it had a foundation that it was working with, some established characters, and two, it was good. It was very well written for over, not just very well written over the first run, but even when they decided to come back and have a closing season that focused heavily on Ahsoka, it was still very well written. This is not that.
look, this is the issue I'm saying here. I think that, with all his problems, I think Dave Filoni is the master of Star Wars, and he backed this, and he agreed with many of the things that went down. And this is
What does
what
that mean?
you know. So my thought is, and he was the master of the Clone Wars. The guys who
But
came.
I
I'm getting,
understand that you're
I'm
saying
getting,
that.
I'm
What
getting,
does that mean? You gotta let the listeners know. What does that mean when you're saying
I'm
that?
building it up. So what I'm getting to is that probably there's more to see in this conversation than what we're actually seeing right now. Probably
No, there isn't.
they can rectify what started off wrong. And look, the problem. Look, let's get down to the brass tacks. The problem that we have with Star Wars all the time is that they want to change things up. We've talked about this many times. The current they say the current viewership is 50 years old and they're trying to bring it down. And so they're willing to try different things. The problem is that you keep alienating your main base and keep on alienating your main base. What tends to happen that now they're going to definitely go out and spread the word that this thing is junk, is garbage. Therefore, no one ends up watching it. I think that you have to go back the way they did it with The Mandalorian, where you have to embrace your base, and then try to add new elements to bring a younger audience. But if it's a good story will bring in a new audience, a younger audience. And I think one of the things we're going to see, like in D23, is that they're going to talk about new shows like the Skeleton Crew, which is supposed to be geared to it's supposed to be like a Goonies type of Star Wars show, younger audience. You know, I think
Oh,
this
you
was
mean something? You mean something original and fun
yeah.
based in Star Wars without undercutting the overall Star Wars universe? Yeah, that might actually work.
Yes, and that's exactly what we want to see. So again, possibly they understand. They get a bloody nose. This show costs, from what I understand, over $100 million. And if they're throwing that much money, and especially that Disney is trying to create a whole new thing with the High Republic, right? And this falls in that high or the late High Republic period. They want to bring it out. They want to flesh it out, and so they're trying to build it. They're going to be doing new books on this too. You know, so for
Yeah,
that.
who's going to be reading? Who's going to read them?
Well, I mean, who knows? I'm not sure.
Who's no you okay? You're bringing this stuff up, but then of course I'm going to ask you a follow question. Just because they write books, well, who's the readership? We know who the readership is. The readership is the people who they want to get rid of. The 50, the people. Oh, these guys, this readership is old. They're in the 50s and such. We want the new people to come in. Okay, well, you want new people to come in. Do they read these books? No. So what are you writing? Who are you writing the books for? And remember, the people who got into reading the books, okay, and this is something that they should understand. The people who got into reading the books were people who wanted more Star Wars in between the films. So Star Wars came out, okay, you had a novelization of it. They made some other books. Okay, then you get Empire Strikes Back. In between waiting, the books filled that void. And then the books took off into a whole other level. Why? Because with the third film, that was the end of the story, at least for that point. And then you had a whole decade of books that came out, okay, a numerous amount of books that came out to fill the void of not having any film. Remember, it was books. It wasn't animated series or anything dealing with television. Books. That was the largest way. Okay, that is the largest way the Star Wars stayed with people. But those people, okay, those people who enjoyed the books and such, they don't want them. They said they want new people. So who are you writing these books for? Because they're not the book readers. That's a whole new generation of people who are not going to. They don't want their consumption through books. They want the media. They want the visual media.
No, and you are right. And the thing that we have to look at, but no, actually, the book readers are the ones who actually saved the universe because when they weren't making movies, right? The book readers are the ones who read that whole Thrawn trilogy. Practically, brought new life to the whole Star Wars um, universe. And because of that, it kicked off so many more books and stuff like that. And therefore, you got new people reading, new people being interested in the show. So look, overall, I think that you know, while it was a disappointment financially, the Acolyte, while I think it didn't grab the viewers, I'm interested in giving Dave Filoni a little bit more rope to find out what he could possibly do. What with the Acolyte, is it possible for him to what do you call that? You know,
You can't make a silk purse from a sow's ear. I mean, I understand you trying to give him benefit of the doubt, give him some room, but it is what it is. This is not a quality series. You would have to, you would literally have to do a global revision of everything that we've seen in order to make this viable. And if you have to do that, the bigger statement you're saying is this is not viable. So why do it when you have other properties that are viable? And
well,
they've done this with, and they have done this along the way. They took a character that people loved, like Boba Fett, and made a trash series for him. We're
hey,
not
I
going to
like
see
that.
Boba Fett again. We're
I
not going
like.
to see Boba Fett anytime soon. Okay, they take my favorite Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and instead of focusing on him, they decide to put in this character that polarized people in terms of Reva, and we're never going to see her again. Okay, we're never going to see her again at the end of the day. So if the whole idea is like, oh yeah, we could take a character like Reva, or we could take some of that nonsense off of a Book of Boba Fett, and we can make it work. No, because if it would have worked, you could have done it the first time. Now, this is where your Clone Wars analogy comes in, because Anakin Skywalker, as he was portrayed in the original and in the prequels, a lot of people had an issue. A lot of people had an issue with it, but okay, they didn't have an issue with Anakin Skywalker as a character. They didn't like certain aspects of his character, which they just decided, hey, we're gonna do this with him, and fine, works. He's still the same character. Okay, he's still born. No, he's still the chosen one. But he doesn't whine. Okay, and he doesn't come across as wimpy. Okay, so you just toughened up his character a little bit, and that was fine. You can't do this with these guys, okay? Because the stuff that we were presented with is not good. Right. So with Anakin, yeah, you can sharpen him up a bit if you want to, even though I think that takes away. Oh, I've already told you. I think the Anakin that we see on the Clone Wars animated series is a character that would have never been seduced to the dark side of the Force. That guy was just, he was too with it. He was too together in terms of his character. The one in the movies, yes, you can see the insecurity, the fear, all that type of things all the things that would be necessary for the Emperor to prey upon. Okay, so you would have that going on, but that's what you would be asking writers to do. And when you're asking them to do that, what you're admitting is that, hey, this is not good, and it's not.
Okay. Well, we will see if that's what they announce coming up. So, hey, I say give it a shot. You say I'm on the fence. All right. S-
No, I say hell no. I say hell no. Okay, don't waste your time watching this. Okay, I mean, even probably one of the more even and kinder, Star Wars YouTubers didn't like the Acolyte. Okay, didn't like the Acolyte. Okay, and this is a YouTuber who usually goes out of her way to be very, very even. And if there's something good, she's gonna let us know what it was. And when I watch, when I listened to her, and she was like, "Look, there was really nothing good she could say about it because it wasn't good."
Okay. All right.
Oh,
We got to move on. Spin rack
we're out.
out.